the software grades your draft. As long as you're listening to John Hanson, you know you have an A-plus team.
Gearing up for the most important weekend in the history of fantasy football. Welcome back to SiriusXM Fantasy Football Morning. I'm John Hanson. Mr. Adam Kaplan. Where the F is he? Well, he's in the chair. And we're going to go to the guest line now. It is time to shine the spotlight on some of the more intriguing and interesting fantasy football leagues in America. And on the line with us, we have Brian Phillips. Brian, good morning. What's up? How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. There you go. There you go.
My first question is, where the F was Adam Kaplan?
That's a good question. That's a very, we found out every day. Every day it was somewhere else. Now, first and foremost, I see where you live, Runnymede, New Jersey. You do know I live like 2 towns over from you, right?
Yeah, I knew you were. I thought you were in like Marlton or something, but yeah, I know you're close.
Pretty close. Pretty close. The same town where Chip Kelly used to live. We'll say that.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
Well, it's fine. It's fine. He sold his house. He bought his house 5 blocks away from me, and then he sold it. And then he got fired like a week later, and he did sell it. But I see that you're. I'm going to start with something that you probably didn't expect, but I see your email is Irish Brawler. Your Twitter is Brawler Brian. I am Irish as well. How old are you? Like, you're over 40, right?
I'm 50.
Oh, wow. Okay. Are you amazed?
Yeah, that's my fantasy football nickname, Irish Brawlers.
You're an ass kicker, clearly.
Yeah, I am. I started fantasy football in 1992. A friend started it, and that league, I was in it for 2 years. But he did like where it was categories. Like he had 10 categories. It was a 10-league team, and he would do rushing yards, and whatever the total rushing yards, you would get 10 points, and then whoever finished second in total rushing yards gets 9.
It was rotisserie, basically.
Oh, rotisserie.
Right, but the thing was, I had Emmitt Smith and Barry Sanders, so I was getting like 250 to 300 yards every week, and then the second player would get like 200 or maybe, and I'd only get 1 more point than him. I was like, all right, I got to fix this. I got to make it where the players, get rewarded for what they do.
So your Twitter handle
is... That's why I started this league where, because, like, say a running back runs 55-yard touchdown. He eludes, like, 5 defenders and then outruns 2 safeties. And he's getting as much as some guy that just plunges into the goal line from 1 yard out. So I'm like, wait, they're both getting 6 points.
Yeah.
So that's why, I made it where it's 12 points for 40 and over. 6 points is 0 to 9 yards. 10 to 39 is 9 points, and then 40 and over is 12 points. So,
do you remember? Do you remember the old Miller Lite? Brian, do you remember the old Miller Lite scoring? You remember that?
Yes.
That was awesome because that was my first fantasy league.
Right.
And it was similar because it was distance scoring.
Do you know what I mean, though? Like, but you just get 6 points. Like, it's just standard for no matter what. And, it's all equals. I guess it's all relative, you know what I mean?
Because
everybody's getting the same thing. But I like more points, too, you know what I mean?
How long has this league been around here in Southern New Jersey?
This has been since 1994. And it was before CBS Sportsline and all that. And I was off on Mondays. I worked Saturdays, so I was off Sunday and Monday. So Monday I would get the daily news and figure out everybody's scoring. And then I would put it on the computer, like Excel sheet or whatever the sheet was then. And then I would print it, and I would mail it to each person, and they'd get it Wednesday. They couldn't wait to look in the mailbox on Wednesday to get the results.
Love that.
It was fun. I love sitting down with a cup of coffee Monday morning and figuring everything out.
The worst is when, if you were a commissioner in the early 90s or late 80s, you would have to wait till the USA Today came out the next day.
Of course.
The
problem is, though, they sometimes wouldn't have the Sunday night game in there.
Oh.
You have to wait another 6 days. You wouldn't find out until Tuesday if you won.
That was ridiculous.
Right, yeah, that's a pain, man.
So your Brawler Brian on Twitter, has there ever been an actual fist fight in this league? That's my question to you, Brian.
There's close a couple years ago, this guy Chuck Blunt, he came over. He's not even in the league, and he came over and was talking crap, and I wanted to put him through my screen window. But other than than that, you know, we break each other's balls, but it's pretty. It's pretty, you know. It's
Are
not
you-
too
are
bad.
you amazed-
The graph's the best part. I mean, it's just nonstop ball breaking.
Brian, speaking of fights, are you amazed that seemingly in America, anyone under 35, they've never been in a fight? Meanwhile, I was in like 7 before I was like 10.
Right, me too, in high school. But see, then it was fair fights, too.
Right.
Like, you go out into the yard, and everybody gets in a circle, and, you know, there's no
Exactly.
weapons, there's no this, it's just
Right.
you and them, no one jumps in,
Bare
it's
knuckles.
just a fair fight. That doesn't exist anymore.
Let me tell you, back in the day, Kaplan was a real ass kisser.
I
I
think
mean,
that one-
Now, see, I don't believe that.
Oh, I'm hurt by, get this guy off me.
now, Brian, you're South Jersey, Philly guy. I'm sure all the
Yep.
people in your league know the Adam Kaplan. They've seen him on ESPN. They listen to him on the radio.
I'm a fan
Has
of radio.
anyone in your league ever been screwed by bad information by Mr. Adam Kaplan?
I'm sure that happens on a daily basis,
All right,
but,
keep
you
this
know,
guy- hey,
I
listen, he's
respect
bad.
that. I
What's
can't
his
sit here and break his ball.
Brawler Brian, I'm actually blocking you on Twitter. Hang on.
Oh, man.
All right, so there it is. I mean, what else do you have to tell us about this league? You started in the early
well,
90s.
We don't have tight ends because
Oh, really?
that, like,
Run and shoot.
Shannon Sharp ruined that years ago. We had tight, like, if you didn't get Shannon Sharp or like Ben Coates, you weren't, you know, you were down like
Okay.
every
Whereas-
week. So
whereas
I
someone
started
in
just
my league
making it
refer-
receiver / tight end. So
Gotcha.
you know, you still can pick tight ends, but you don't have to. And we
Right.
don't have playoffs because I hated like because we do like head to head. So by week 16 or 15, you can be up by 4 games, and then all of a sudden you go into the playoffs, and then if you know, your guys are sitting week 17 or whatever because, you know, they're resting for their playoffs, and then you lose to somebody who you had like 5 more wins than. And so we just go all the way through to week 17, and if it's a tie score, it just goes total points. And,
Gotcha.
you know, it's usually pretty close. So there's really not too many where it's over by week 14 or something, you know.
Do you
Right.
play in
Usually
other
goes
leagues?
to the last week.
Brian, do you play in other leagues?
I have, but I didn't like because then now I'm like rooting against my guy, and I'm like I want him to do good, but not too good. And
This is your only league.
so
Wow.
I
Wow,
kind of
yeah.
just stay with this league. I mean, I do a free one on the internet, but I don't really. Half the time, I don't even pay attention to it.
I'm glad Brian's not my co-host. I'd never get a word in edgewise. I mean, we're not paying you by the word here, Brian. But I'll tell you what, it'd be easy.
Hey, yo, whenever
It'd be easy.
Adam Kaplan goes effing somewhere, I'll be glad to cover.
He's very entertaining, this guy.
No, I'll tell you, yeah, we're liking this. By the way,
Call her the personality.
my first league was similar. We would play 17 weeks, best record. Tiebreaker was total points. And
Right.
one year, I'll never forget this. Boy, it was so painful. I was like the hard luck guy in my league because I was always had a great team, but I would always have bad luck. And then I finally broke through. But one year I lost. I ended up tied. You play 17 weeks. I ended up tied record-wise, so we had to go to total points. It was over 1,100 points, and I lost by 4. 4.
Oh, that sucks.
Have you ever
Yeah,
heard
see, that's, but, you know, it is what it is. Would you rather lose when all your guys are friggin' sitting on the bench because they're resting for the playoffs? Like that sucks, too, you know what I mean?
Brian,
You got
before,
to kind of start picking people up for week 16 and 17 that aren't even on anybody's roster, like that, you know, you would never even think of.
before we let you go, well, one other side thing, because you really seem like you enjoy the ball breaking. Like, how much of the enjoyment of this fantasy league, and I know there's money involved, I'm sure, but how much
Yeah.
of the enjoyment, I mean, to me, the ball breaking is priceless. I mean, how much do you enjoy that in this league? 'Cause
It
sounds
is.
like it's
I
big.
mean, that is a big part for sure. I mean, if you, I mean, what's the point if you're not going to
Exactly.
do that? There's no, you know.
I could get a
that's
job
the
to make
fun
money.
Right there.
I could get a job and make money. I can't break balls at work.
What it's all about, man. We don't. I'm not, John. Have you ever been? You haven't been a smack talk guy, so that's the thing about it. I don't remember you doing a lot of that.
You know, a little bit. You know, back in the day, I used to break balls, of course. But I break your balls, Mr. Kaplan. I enjoy it. It's like a hobby. It's like my fifth favorite thing to
quit,
do.
You know, I actually quit the show twice because you were too hard on me.
Brian, we appreciate it. Before we let you go here, and thanks for hopping aboard out of Runnymede, New Jersey. You're right around Joe Flacco country.
Absolutely, yeah.
there.
My brother lives in Audubon, and Flacco was at his house a couple times before, and his younger brother played baseball with my nephew. So,
Of
yeah,
course.
we know the Flaccos.
Absolutely. Everybody from our area does. I mean, his brother used to go to my gym. I coached Little League against, like, his nephew. The kid was getting, like, unassisted triple plays against me. He was, like, 6.
I know, they're like man amongst boys.
I
man.
mean, they really are. But let's get your thought. You got to be an Eagles fan, right? What's up with the
Absolutely.
Eagles? What are the Eagles going to do this year, Brian?
Well, it doesn't look like they're going to run the ball.
Right.
I mean, they want to, but I don't know. I mean, I like, I like Wentz. I mean, he's still probably another year or two from, really, really breaking out.
Agreed.
Alshon Jeffrey, I mean, I like him. Torrey Smith, he's fast, but he never really impressed me. Like,
Right.
Zach Ertz is pretty good, but once he catches it, he goes down. Like, he's not like a yak guy.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
he pretty much, wherever he catches the ball, that's where that's it. But
What do you think of-
I'm
what do you think
just
of Doug
worried
Peterson
about
and the
Blunt, 'cause,
direction-
I mean, they're trying to get him around the corner, and he's just a north-south guy.
Yeah.
Where it's great if we're on the 5-yard line or 1-yard line, but this guy ain't going to be breaking any long runs around the end. So I don't know what they're doing there. But, it should be interesting. I like our defense, I can tell you that. We got a really good defense.
Yeah. How about those Eagles fans, Mr. Kaplan? They're very educated. They know their team. They don't know crap about the rest of the league, but they know their team.
Yeah, listen, the vibe is that the team will be better than last year, but I don't see how it's going to be a playoff team. They need a lot to
Yeah,
work
I don't.
out.
I mean, and they got a tough schedule too. I mean,
Very
like
tough, way hard.
I'm thinking 8-8 would be good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very challenging.
Brian, we're up against a great spot, very entertaining.
We ought to bring him in
success.
more just for comedy.
I mean, I could take if my vocal cords need a break, I can bring in Brian as my co-host. I never get a word
There
in
you go.
edgewise. Thanks, man. We appreciate it.
All right, guys, thank you.
There he is, Brian Phillips. That was very good, very, very good.
I
And
don't know what we talked about, but it's fun.
it was a good spot. Come on, it was a fun
Yeah,
time.
it worked. It
had
worked.
by all.
Definitely.
Before we go, we want to tell you about Dish. They believe in the power of listening. They believe in